In the dark corners of the galaxy, where the stars burn like dying embers, there once existed an empire so mighty that none dared challenge its rule. The Eldar, an ancient and powerful race, had conquered the stars, their technology and psychic abilities surpassing even the most ambitious dreams of humanity. For millennia, the Eldar basked in their greatness. They had no rivals, no enemies strong enough to threaten them. Their worlds gleamed with golden spires. Their people lived in endless luxury. But as the years stretched on, something changed. With no wars to fight, no struggles to endure, the Eldar turned to other pursuits. At first, it was innocent: art, music, poetry, and philosophy. But soon, the search for beauty became a hunger for sensation. As they exhausted every form of pleasure known to them, they began to push the boundaries of experience. Every new indulgence had to be more intense, more extreme. Forbidden cults formed, dark rituals were performed in secret, and entire worlds became playgrounds of excess. Some among them warned that their unchecked hedonism was dangerous, that something unnatural was stirring in the warp. But the Eldar laughed at these prophets of doom. They believed themselves gods, immortal and untouchable. They could not see the doom they had crafted with their own hands. And then the cataclysm struck. In one horrifying moment, the pleasure-soaked energy of the Eldar civilization reached its breaking point. The sheer excess of their depravity caused a ripple in reality, a tear in the fabric of existence. A new god was born from their collective desires, one more powerful and hungry than any before it. Slaanesh did not emerge quietly. The birth of the Dark Prince was an explosion of pure psychic energy, a scream of rapture and agony that tore across the stars. The heart of the Eldar Empire was obliterated in an instant. Entire worlds turned to dust. Their gods, beings of immense power, were devoured, their souls ripped apart by this newborn force of desire. The aftermath was a nightmare. The birth cry of Slaanesh tore open the Eye of Terror, a massive warp rift that remains to this day, a wound in reality, pulsing with madness and corruption. The once glorious Eldar were reduced to scattered survivors, their souls forever haunted by the entity they had unknowingly created. And Slaanesh, the Dark Prince of Pleasure, awoke. Beautiful and terrible, the god of excess gazed upon the universe and whispered its first word: more. Slaanesh is unlike any other chaos god. Khorne, the blood god, demands slaughter. Nurgle, the lord of decay, embraces rot and disease. Tzeentch, the architect of fate, spins endless webs of deception. But Slaanesh whispers, Slaanesh tempts. The Dark Prince does not force its will upon others. Instead, it offers the sweetest of gifts, the most tantalizing of choices. Slaanesh is the god of pleasure, but also of pain, the god of beauty, but also of corruption. At first, the gifts of Slaanesh seem harmless, even wonderful. A painter desperate to capture the perfect image feels an inspiration like never before. A musician hears a melody in their dreams, so beautiful it brings them to tears. A warrior already strong feels faster, sharper, more precise. They believe they have been blessed, but perfection is a cruel master. The painter finds that no image is ever perfect enough, and in their desperation, they begin to paint with blood. The musician discovers that no melody will ever match the one in their dreams, and so they tear out their own ears, hoping to silence the torment. The warrior, once a master of the blade, begins to seek pain as well as victory, craving the sensation of battle more than its outcome. This is the power of Slaanesh. It does not conquer by force, but by desire. It makes mortals believe they are in control, that they are simply pursuing their passions, and then, before they realize what has happened, they are lost. There is no escape from Slaanesh because it is not a prison. It is an addiction, a spiral of pleasure and pain, beauty and horror that never ends. And for those who fall too deeply into its grasp, there is no return. The realm of the Dark Prince. The mortal world is a place of limitations. Limited time, limited experiences, limited sensation. But in the warp, where the gods dwell, there are no limits. And in the heart of this endless shifting nightmare, Slaanesh reigns supreme. Slaanesh's domain, often called the Palace of Pleasure, is a place beyond human comprehension. To those who first behold it, it is paradise, a landscape of golden fields, crystal rivers, and skies that glow with an eternal sunset. The air is filled with music so enchanting that it makes the heart ache. The very ground beneath one's feet feels soft and welcoming, like the touch of a lover's hand. But this beauty is a mask. As one ventures deeper into the palace, the illusions begin to twist. The golden fields become writhing flesh, the rivers flow red with blood, the music becomes an unbearable cacophony of laughter and screams. Those who reach the heart of the palace find themselves standing before a throne of impossible beauty, upon which sits the Dark Prince. Slaanesh is neither male nor female, yet it is both. It is every lover one has ever dreamed of, every desire one has ever longed for. To gaze upon the god is to see one's deepest wish made flesh, and in that moment, the soul is lost. Those who enter the palace of pleasure rarely leave. Those who do are no longer human. They become something else. Things of twisted beauty, beings of endless hunger. The lucky ones become servants, their bodies reshaped into demonettes. The lithe and deadly warriors of Slaanesh. The unlucky ones simply fade, their souls consumed, their screams lost in the endless symphony of the palace. For all its beauty, Slaanesh's realm is not a place of joy. It is a trap, a gilded cage from which there is no escape. Because for Slaanesh, there is only one truth. There is no such thing as enough. The followers of Slaanesh. Slaanesh's influence is not confined to the warp or the ruins of the Eldar. The Dark Prince's touch spreads across the galaxy, seeping into the hearts of mortals who seek more than what life can offer. The god of excess does not force its will upon the world. Instead, it whispers, tempts, and promises. Its followers come in many forms: warriors who crave the perfect kill, nobles who desire endless pleasures, artists who seek inspiration beyond the limits of the mind. Some serve in secret, forming cults in the grand halls of imperial cities, while others march openly, clad in armor adorned with the symbols of their god. Among the greatest of Slaanesh's champions are the Emperor's Children, a once loyal Space Marine legion that fell into madness. They were once the most glorious of the Emperor's armies, obsessed with martial perfection. But perfection led to indulgence, indulgence led to corruption, and corruption led to their ultimate fall. Now they are the most depraved warriors in the galaxy. Their weapons do not simply kill, they create pain so intense that it becomes ecstasy. Their war cries are not roars of rage, but laughter, music, and whispers of seduction. They fight not for conquest, but for sensation, for the thrill of battle and the pleasure of destruction. To them, war is art, and suffering is the canvas upon which they paint. Not all of Slaanesh's followers wear armor or march into battle. Many lurk in the shadows of imperial cities, hidden among the noble houses and the artistic elite. These cults of excess worship in secret, indulging in pleasures that would be unthinkable to ordinary men and women. Some are artists who push the limits of creation, sacrificing lives to paint with blood or sculpt with bone. Others are nobles who host lavish feasts that begin with music and dance but end in madness and murder. These cults grow slowly, their whispers spreading through the halls of power until entire cities fall into their grasp. And by the time the Inquisition discovers them, it is often too late. Among Slaanesh's most terrifying creations are its demonic servants. The demonettes, the foot soldiers of the Dark Prince, are creatures of both horror and allure. Lithe and graceful, they dance through battle, their razor-sharp claws slicing through armor as easily as silk. Their laughter is intoxicating, their voices dripping with unholy temptation. More powerful still are the Keepers of Secrets, towering beings of impossible beauty and monstrous cruelty. They are Slaanesh's chosen, each a master of war and seduction. To face one is to risk losing not just one's life, but one's soul. Because once a Keeper of Secrets looks into your heart, it knows your deepest desires, and it will offer them to you, if only you surrender. All who serve Slaanesh eventually face the same fate, destruction. Some are consumed by their own desires, burning too brightly and fading into oblivion. Others are cast aside, discarded when their usefulness ends. For in the eyes of Slaanesh, there is no loyalty, no love, only hunger, and that hunger is endless. And so we arrive at the climax of our tale. The ultimate fate of those who follow Slaanesh is not glory, nor power, nor even eternal pleasure. It is oblivion, for Slaanesh is not a god of mercy. The Dark Prince does not grant everlasting joy, only the illusion of it. Those who worship at its feet believe they will bask in endless ecstasy, but they are wrong. The hunger of Slaanesh is eternal, and it never stops feeding. For those who serve Slaanesh, there is never enough. No sensation is ever satisfying, no pleasure ever complete. The warrior who seeks the perfect kill must always find a greater challenge. The artist who seeks the ultimate masterpiece must always create something more extreme. The noble who desires beauty must go to ever darker lengths to preserve it. And in the end, they break. Some die, their bodies burned out from their excesses. Others lose their minds, trapped in an endless cycle of desire and despair. And some, the truly unfortunate, are claimed. Slaanesh does not just take the bodies of its followers, it takes their souls. When a mortal falls too deeply into Slaanesh's grasp, their essence is pulled from their body, drawn into the warp. Their soul becomes part of Slaanesh's court, an eternal plaything, trapped in an existence of both pleasure and torment beyond mortal comprehension. For the Eldar, this fate is a nightmare beyond imagination. Since Slaanesh was born from their excesses, their souls are forever hunted by the Dark Prince. The moment an Eldar dies, Slaanesh reaches out, seeking to consume them. To escape this fate, the Eldar must trap their souls in spirit stones, keeping them out of the gods' reach. But for those who do not have such protections, there is no escape. The whisper that never fades. Even for those who have not yet fallen, Slaanesh is always near. The Dark Prince whispers in the minds of mortals, tempting them with promises of pleasure, beauty, and power. It starts as a thought, an innocent desire, a small indulgence. But over time, the whispers grow louder. The cravings become stronger. The hunger becomes unbearable. And then one day a choice is made. A brushstroke of blood upon a canvas. A blade drawn not in defense, but for the thrill of it. A whispered prayer to a god whose name was never spoken before. And in that moment, Slaanesh smiles. Because once the path has begun, there is no turning back. For Slaanesh is always watching, always waiting, always thirsty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Got any questions or a Warhammer 40k topic you'd love to see covered next? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. But that doesn't mean you have to face it alone. Connect with fellow hobbyists, share your knowledge, and keep the passion for the lore alive. Until next time, stay sharp, keep your bolter primed, and may the Emperor's light guide your path.